Hello, everyone. Awesome. I'm happy to be here, and Natalie looks happy to be here.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, you're welcome. And actually, it's our pleasure to have you here.
Thank
And we got to talk about you today. If you
you.
if you can just type in the chats, welcome Natalie. Welcome her here. Welcome Natalie, please, in the chats. Thank you. Okay. We're gonna get started, Natalie. Can you introduce yourself and basically just tell us what your real estate journey has been like, how you got started?
Okay. I'm Natalie and I am in Texas in Fort Worth. And honestly, this acquire real estate like actually began started my real estate journey because I knew that I always wanted to be in real estate, but there was just so much information out there. I felt like I had like information overload and I didn't know where to start from. And then one fateful day, I was on Instagram and I literally got an ad of a session starting in like 5 minutes, right? And it was one of Yinka's like introductory sessions. And I was like, okay, you know what? I'm just gonna join. And I believe that day was March 30th, I think. That this year, March 30th this year. And I joined and I decided to go for the course. And honestly, I just went right in like immediately. And yeah, I got my first deal in less than a month. And we officially closed yesterday.
Congratulations.
Thank
Yay.
you.
How was closing?
Whew. It was a long journey to get to closing because it was a lot of paperwork, a lot
Mhm.
of back and forth with the title company, the lender, but it was a good experience. It kind of reminds me of when we got our first home. Yeah, I think it's good experience because I feel like it just gets easier when you know what to do with experience.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's gonna get easier as you go. The closing is
Yeah.
gonna be like, I wake up, I'm like, oh, I have a closing today, and then you go to your attorney's office.
Right. Well, it was really good because they actually sent a notary service. So I closed
Oh,
in my home. So
oh, wow. I like
that
that.
was good.
That's very convenient.
Yeah.
Okay. So you didn't have to step out. You closed right in.
I closed in my home. Yep.
That's amazing. So closing really just means the paperwork you do to buy a property. You got to exchange paperwork between the seller and
Hmm.
yourself and also the lenders. And
Yeah.
you buy your property. It's pretty straightforward.
Yep. And I got the keys this morning. So
Oh, you got keys this morning.
yes.
That's amazing. How did it feel like your first property,
I
your
it
first property?
was very exciting and also nerve-wracking. I remember feeling very anxious this morning, like, oh my gosh, I'm actually doing this. But I'm also pretty excited to see the journey and how
Yeah,
it, yeah, I'm
yeah.
excited.
Yeah, like your first investment property, just having the keys in your hands is like, I own this one too.
Yes. Yes. I remember walking on the property this morning. I'm like, wow, I actually own this property. That's very weird. But it's pretty exciting.
Yeah, it will still feel weird when you own 10 or more. It's like, but
Right.
it doesn't feel that way. Like, I'm just a normal human being. But before
Mhm.
you get to that phase, you're looking at everybody else who's doing that as extraordinary. Like, they gotta have something,
Right.
how they gotta maybe have the money, or they gotta have the talent, or they gotta be more intelligent, or they gotta have the skill. It's not
Hmm.
that. You just gotta go through the process like everybody else.
Yeah.
Everybody is trying to figure it out.
Yeah. And
So
I'm definitely figuring out a lot of things as I go. I did not even realize that I had to turn on the lights today. So the contractor kind of had to tell me, like, have you called to turn on the electricity? And I'm like, I have to do that. But yeah, I'm definitely learning as I go.
yeah, okay. That's good. So you got in on March 30th. Did you do anything else real estate investing related? Like, did you take any
No,
classes,
I
any
did not
program,
take any class. I did not take anything. Your course was the first official thing that, I did regarding real estate.
and you scored everything in the monthly?
Yeah, and yeah, I believe I got this deal the fourth week, the fourth week of April. Yeah. So, and my first week was actually my first meeting with you was the first week of April. So technically, like 3 weeks after that, 3 weeks
Mm-hmm.
after that, that I got this deal. Yeah.
That's great. I remember talking to some students today on their one-on-one, and they're like, when do we start finding deals? I said the second week. And they looked
Yep,
at each
like
other
immediately. You
and
don't
they
have to get
laughed. They're
when
like,
I funny thing is when I got this deal, I had not even opened a bank account.
uh-huh.
I had not applied for credit. But guess what? I did everything. When I knew that the deal was a short deal, I went
Mhm.
and I did everything in like a week. So you don't
Mhm.
have to have everything figured out first.
Together. That is true. So you had to do your accelerator. I'm like, oh my
Yeah.
goodness, I gotta go crazy right now, but it's worth it.
Mm.
That's great. Okay, I love that story. So, how did you find the deal? What's the story behind it? Because people are out there saying
Mm.
there's no deals, or I can't find one, everything on Zillow or Redfin or MLS isn't working, or what would you say? How did you find yours? What did you do?
It was either Zillow or Redfin. So I was looking for a property that was on the market for long and no one wanted to buy it. Because that was for me, I when I tried like new properties, the first 2 weeks I got really frustrated. So I went and started searching for properties that had been in the market for over 50 days. And as at then, I think this property was in the market for 80 something days and it was listed for 180. So I put in the offer for 160 and I remember seeing the property. I was like, okay, let's try to do 160. And when I put in initial offer for 160, I then went into the property with a contractor. After, I went to see the property the first time before putting in an offer. And then after I put in the offer, when I knew that they were serious, actually, sorry, I'm gonna back up a little bit. I was a backup offer. They already had an offer. And I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna put in a backup offer. What's the big deal? And I feel like a week later, they called me saying, oh, the backup offer fell through, that they viewed the property and they wanted to go really low. And I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna go see the property with a general contractor and just have a feel of what the repairs is gonna cost. And I remember going in and the contractor was like, well, it's gonna cost like 60, 65K. I'm like, okay, the 160K that I put in initially was a little too high because the ARB came down to be between 290 to 300K, right? So it made sense to put in an offer between like 120 and 140-ish, right? And then I remember the lady, the listing agent told me that the other people came with 120K and the person was like, nope, I'm not gonna accept it. So I remember calling her a lot. I'm like, you know what? I'm like 10. Good thing is the property is 10 minutes away from my house. I'm like, I'm 10 minutes away. I'm gonna take good care of the property. I kept like calling her. It's like, oh, what is the lowest that you can go? Da da da. And they were like, the lowest that they can go is 140. But I'm like, okay, can you do 135? And I will pay my realtor. I will pay my realtor's commission. And she was like, I don't think they're gonna accept it, but let me get back to you. And then they accepted it. They accepted 135. It was a lot of back and forth. Like I just kept letting the listing agent know that I really want this property. I'm close to the property. I'm gonna take care of it. I'm gonna close in less than 3 weeks. And it worked out. And I put in an offer for 135. I started 160 and then I went down to 135 and they accepted it and we officially closed yesterday.
I see you are so strategic in how you approach things. And it's part of what we kind of do in our program where we say go with the oldest or go with the least expensive, because that kind of gives you an information as to how motivated the seller would be. So you're making smart offers, and there's this guideline we have on making smart offers. So you have the tendency or the probability of it being accepted.
Yeah.
So now it was listed at how much?
180.
180.
Yeah.
Imagine a property being listed at 180 and you make an offer of 135
Yeah.
and your
And
offer.
initially they if I knew if I came in with 135, they would have, not accepted the offer. But I came in with 160. And I feel like I just put a lot of passion every time I spoke to the leasing agent. I'm like, I really want this property. I stay really close. I'm gonna take care of it. I'm gonna, so I feel like I kept being consistent with calling her, checking up on her to make sure that she's, relaying my information to the sellers. And I feel like that kind of made her convince them that, okay, you know what, this person is serious. Because they had um people two people, or I don't know, whose offers fell through before me. So at that point they were actually going to leave the market. So I just kind of had to go back to them. It's like, okay, I'm really interested. I'm going to close in 3 weeks. I'm serious, and it worked out.
Mm. You see, you never know. And that's why we always say just put in your offer and move on. Put in your offer and move on. But also not really moving on because you gotta still follow up, right? Which is
Yeah.
something she did. If she didn't follow up, she probably wouldn't have gotten the deal.
Yeah.
And for our inner circle folks, we always put in our offer. That's really the whole goal. So we can do multiple deals a year. So your job is to put in those offers. And she put it in regardless. And I really applaud your agent because some realtors will say, I don't want to embarrass myself and put that offer in. And that's why you got to work with real estate investor
So
friendly
friendly. Yeah.
agents. They're not afraid to put in lowball
Yeah.
offers because the offers are lowball for a reason. Coming from people like us who put the numbers together and know that you need to be able to accommodate for repairs,
Yeah.
right? So it is for a good reason that we're putting in that offer so that it makes sense for everybody involved. Okay. And then down the line, somebody doesn't get in trouble just because they didn't put their numbers together accurately. So you just got to put that in. So what I'm also learning is relationships, right? Relationships are so important in the world of business and in real estate investing. And just like I told a coaching student a while ago, before she got 3 deals almost at once,
Wow.
I said, talk to this wholesaler. Talk to them like a person. Most people are not talking to them directly and say, hey, wholesaler, your deals are not working. That's
Yeah.
what I said to say. They're not working. Have a conversation, like a mutual conversation. Here is my deal analyzer. It's not making sense. I can't go for this deal at this price. Why do you consistently send me deals that don't make sense? Because I'm a
Right.
serious buyer, right? And then they started to have a conversation. They had a closer relationship, and the rest was history. Because now that wholesaler sees her as someone who is a very serious person who wants to buy. But most people wouldn't do that. They wouldn't take advantage of relationships. They would hide behind a computer, right? And just, relate with people as though they're not people per se.
But
So
the funny thing is, even before, so the realtor put in the first offer, which was 160. Even before they put in the 135, I feel like I spoke to the listed agent like 5 or 6 times. And we had already agreed the 135 before I told my realtor to put it in. Yeah.
makes sense. Yeah. That's amazing, honestly. I love that story so much.
Thank you.
Okay. So with that, you have 135 purchase. How much
Mhm.
rehab?
So I
Yes.
know that initially it was about 65K. That contractor was going to do the project in 4 months. It was not going to work, right?
Mm-mm.
So
Yeah.
I got two more contractors who gave me quotes of about 72K without appliances, so about 75K with appliances, and timeline of less than 2 months. So I went with one of them. And initially the profit was 50K with the first contractor, which was the last time we spoke, but
Mhm.
now the profit is about 41, 42, which is
Okay.
still above 40. Yeah. I
Okay.
offered 160K first, and they actually was like, okay, I'm gonna put your offer as a backup offer.
At what point did you apply for funding? So how about we talk about funding? I don't know if you're prepared to
Yeah,
talk about that.
I
How
am.
how did you work funding out? Was
So
it
we have a lending partner that is accessible through the lending portal. Immediately, they accepted the 135. Literally, I think the same day I applied for funding. And I think they have like a 2 weeks But then when I started talking to the loan officer, I was like, okay, can we close sooner? And they were like, it depends on how fast I can provide them with the documents that they need. I
Yeah.
put in all the information that they needed in literally one day, and they were able to guarantee a closing of May 17th. Yeah.
How many days is that? 30 days or less?
No, 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Oh, okay.
Sorry.
That's pretty fast. Wow, 2 weeks plus is very fast.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I love our partners for that.
Yeah, with a soft pull, yes.
Yeah. Okay. So do you think coaching help in any way to make
The
this?
coaching was the only thing that helped. The coaching helped, honestly, like every step of the way. I remember always going back to the resources, like, okay, what do I need to do now? What do I need to do now? What do I need to do now? Right? The coaching, the resources helped every step of the way. I met my contractor this morning. We signed papers. Everything that they signed is from the resource center.
Mhm,
Yeah.
yeah.
So it was honestly only I was like, how would I have been able to do this without the coaching, sessions and everything? So definitely helped a lot. My sessions with you and Darius really helped.
Yeah. Yeah, we have a lot of very, very good detailed resources
Yep.
from analyzers to contracts to basically everything you need for any kind of deal. So that really helps a lot. I use the same resources.
Yeah.
So, okay. Let's see what other question. Did you do
Get the deal before getting a lender.
yes, right?
Yes, I got the deal.
But
And I applied for the lender the day the deal was signed. The contract was signed by the seller. So it was the same day I went in and applied for funding.
mhm. So we have some lenders in our program that our students partner with. They don't have to look for lenders beforehand,
Mhm.
except they want to, but we already have partner lenders that they can just go onto their portal and print out a pre-approval or put in their application, put in their property details, and they get funding.
Yeah.
So yeah, the lender was already set up for them before getting the deal. But once you get the deal, it looks like a great deal. The numbers look great. You can now submit to the lenders. What was like your hesitation? Like people out there, I'm so happy that you took your step, you did your thing, and you're here right now. I've heard a lot of people say, I should have done this years back. A
Yeah.
lot, right? But the things that stop people are actually real things. They're legitimate, like they're legitimate fears. And what kind of fears did you struggle with? And how did you overcome it and just say, you know what, I'm just going to do this? Maybe you've been thinking about it, but that can kind of help people who are like, I don't know, should I?
My biggest fear was lack of information,
Okay.
but I overcame that with the course. The second fear,
By the way, it's not a course. I mean, it's like a coaching
a
program
coaching program that has different
because a
courses.
course just gives you the information without
Yeah.
any.
So it was a coaching program and I had weekly sessions with you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That definitely like overcome it. I overcame my fear with that. I want to go a bit spiritual. I had a confirmation by dream. Before I before I actually found your coaching program, I had a dream that confirmed that I need to actually take a step into real estate. So that's me going spiritual. So honestly, once I had that, there was honestly no fear anymore. It was just a matter of finding the right coach. And I found you, and everything has just been head on since then. I'm not gonna lie, I still feel anxious just because like fear of the unknown, but the coaching helps. Yinka is always available. I know your husband is always available. I still have sessions planned with you. So if there's any issues, I know you're always gonna be here to answer my questions.
Okay, I like that. I like that. So we're always nervous, but we just gotta keep going. Like I
Yeah.
sing on stage too, and I've been singing on stage for like many years, but each time I'm about to go on stage, I still have that, oh my goodness. Like,
Right.
please save me. Like you never get used to I don't think if you ever get used to doing big things without really trying to pinch yourself and say, hey, is this real? Hey, how do I get this out of the way? For every deal, there's like an adrenaline that happens. But in
Yeah.
spite of the fear, we keep stepping out, we keep doing things.
Yep.
If you stay in one spot, you're not going to accomplish anything. You just got to step out while you're afraid because you're not going to stop being afraid. That's just the truth. You'd be
Yeah.
surprised that everybody kind of feels,
Anxious.
something.
I'm not even
You
gonna
got that.
lie. I feel anxious about getting the second due. So it's always gonna be there. It's like, okay, I've gotten the first one out. What next? I have to do it.
Yeah. Yes, I can relate to that. Am I gonna consistently be able to do deals? Okay, how about the next one? Okay, this is done. Like when you close on your deal, you're like, I will be the happiest person on earth. But
Yep.
then at that point, you're already thinking, this next
Of the
deal
next
is
one.
stressing me out. You're not even
Mhm.
having that sink in. So it's just human nature. We're always looking forward to the next.
Yeah.
Okay, that's amazing. I love that. So what if someone wasn't like you who would like have an inner confirmation, what would you say? How can they really step out of that kind of, I think you mentioned that knowledge helped you.
Knowledge,
Okay.
knowledge, knowledge, knowledge.
Okay. So knowing what you're doing kind of helps
No,
you.
yeah, honestly, if you don't like have the right knowledge, you're always gonna be scared. It's like, okay, am I doing the right thing or not? Or if you don't have something to fall back on. And I know I keep saying the coaching program, but honestly, it was God sent. In my case, it's the coaching program. I keep going back to my resource center to like download things, and the coaching program definitely provided all the knowledge that I needed. I'm someone that I I'm a risk taker. Risks. So
Averse? Are you a
uh,
risk averse or you love to take risks?
I love.
You love to take risks?
I mean, I like to take calculated risks.
Okay.
I
Yeah,
won't
that
just
makes
like, okay, I'm gonna just get in property. I will definitely like do my analysis first.
sense.
But once I see that it works, I'm just gonna go ahead and do it.
Yeah, makes
So
sense.
for a risk averse person, I would say just get as much knowledge as you can.
Okay, Funke says, how did you raise the down payment? All right, go.
This just applies to me because Rinka did tell me to use a private money lender. I'm like, no. I went into my 401k because I have a regular 9 to 5. I went into my 401k, but it was an option for me to go with a private money lender.
Mm-hmm. Well, also if it's from your 401k, because your 401k also has the option to invest in real estate.
Yeah,
Because if you have a custodian right now, they're using your 401k for like small deals, really, really, really like risk averse things where they're earning you 2%, 3%, 4%, 5%. Like really, really, if they go into stocks, they're gonna go to low risks and low returns on investments. So if you have a better way of investing your money, especially with self-directed IRAs, you can move that fund into a better investment strategy. You're definitely going to return that money into your
I'm
401k.
definitely going to return it. Yes.
Interest, maybe, depending on what kind of movements you did. So that money goes back in there, but that money has already made you additional money in
Yeah.
your journey. I mean, of what use is it if you're broke right now and they're promising that you're going to be rich in the future? By the time you get to the future, that money doesn't look like anything anymore because of inflation, right? It's
Yeah.
not barely enough to do anything. So I think it's a smart strategy. The other thing is it saves you on costs. So if private money is on, percentage interests are definitely higher for private money is usually between 7 to 12% is what you're looking at, which still works out perfectly for deals, but oftentimes you're not really paying. If it's a self-directed IRA, it's whatever interest you want to put in there, except you have like an agreement to your 401k or IRA.
Yeah.
So you're saving a lot of money in interest. So it's not a bad strategy, but definitely don't want to like dip into your 401k for like miscellaneous to
No, no,
like
no.
update your house or to buy consumer products. You can only it will make sense. It's wiser if you use that for investment purposes, which
Yeah.
is what she did. So yeah, I'm fine with your strategy. I love it. It's actually makes you more money than you would have made with private money at that point. But if you don't have a 401k, definitely private money is an option for you. And so the hard money covered 90% of your
Of
purchase.
the purchase price.
And then 100% of your repairs they
Yeah, they're
cover.
covering 100% of the repairs.
How soon after did you establish business bank accounts and checking?
Once I knew that they were gonna accept, or actually, once they accepted the offer, that was on I think a Monday or Tuesday. On Saturday, I was in the bank. I was in the bank opening my bank account
Mhm.
because I could have gone literally the next day, but I had to schedule an appointment and I had to work with my work schedule. So
Not a big deal. Everything can be done. You can open up your LLC in one day, register it, open up your bank account in one day, depending on what bank you're
yeah.
using. You can apply for your credits in one day. Basically,
Yeah.
setting up your business not like the biggest thing. It's really knowing what you're doing, going
Mhm.
out there, getting deals, knowing how this whole thing works, putting your numbers together. Okay. Was there a penalty to use your 401k?
No, but there's interest on the amount that
Okay.
and honestly, it doesn't really matter because that money is gonna go back in about 2 months. So the interest is gonna, yeah, it's very small. It's 9%, but that's 9% over 5 years. And if it's gonna go back in 2 months, that's literally not,
Yeah, really nothing. That
yeah.
makes a lot of sense. Okay, I love that strategy. If you had to give someone a big advice, someone who's looking to get started in real estate, I mean, they've seen a lot of like success stories, they've seen Instagram, they've seen Facebook, all kinds. It's kind of hard to believe a lot of things, but they're newbie, they really want to get started. Like, what kind of advice would you give to help them?
You just have to take action.
Okay.
You honestly have to take action. You can procrastinate for a long time. It's nothing is gonna work. You take action, just have a mentor, or someone that's coaching you that can just answer all your questions, really. There's a lot of information out there. And for someone that is really good at consuming information, I did not know how to get started until I actually got Yinka as my coaching leader. You just have to take action. I remember the first week, I literally started putting in offers already after my first class with Yinka. And I remember telling her that I don't even know what I'm doing, but I'm just doing it and I'm scared, but and yeah, here I am a month and a half later, and I just closed on my first property. And I don't 100% know what I'm doing, but I'm figuring it out as I go.
And we're so very proud of you.
Thank
Everybody's trying to figure it out in this life if it helps you feel better. If you're not in yet, there are a lot of people like you who are trying to figure it out. Look for free resources out there. I mean, yes, you can fast track your success with programs, but don't feel discouraged.
Yeah.
It's a little more.
Ask Yinka. Yinka usually responds within a day. And I also remember Googling a lot of stuff. It's like, what is
You
the
gotta do it. You
hiding?
gotta do it.
What is this? What is that?
Yeah,
So you have to
you
Google a
gotta.
lot.
Yeah, you gotta do your own research. And it's a good thing.
Yes.
Thank you so much for
Sure.
this. Can you guys please type thank you in there? All right, so let's do something different today for resources. Just type in the comments any resource you need, and I'll see if I can figure that out and send that to you. So you have a blank check today. Blank check, just based on this conversation, what resource do you think you need? Type that in the comments, and I will look at those comments individually and I'll reach out to you and see if I have anything for you. If it's just for our coaching students, I will think about it. I'll get their permission. But yes, type in there what resources you need and we can go from there. Thank you everyone for coming on here tonight. Also, if you were looking to be in our inner circle and you wanted to talk to me about that, definitely type inner circle in the comments and we can get the conversation started and see if we can fast track your success. It would be nice to see you next month doing your deal as well.
Thank you so
So
much.
type that in the comments. Yeah, Natalie, you were going to say something.
No, I was just gonna say thank you to everyone that's
Okay, so thank you everyone and have a
all right.
great night.